Good morning. All right. Welcome on. Say if you're on. If you're watching the replay, put replay. Hey, Eleanor. Oh, man. It's doing it again, Amy. It's so weird. It says you are on, but it doesn't give me the ability to add you. All right. I see you on, Amy. So now I gotta figure out how to add you. Can you request me? Hey, Carrie. All right. Amy's gonna get on here. Lord. These people that come on lives and want to have a conversation with you get blocked ASAP. So, hey girl, you're at work, aren't you? All right, we're just trying to get Amy on and then we're all in. All in. Yeah, I don't either. I don't know why it's not letting you. There we go. If Facebook could make this easier, that would be amazing. But yeah, someday. It's adding Amy. It's yeah.
All right. Do I sound normal?
You sound amazing.
Okay. So I was on the computer and you can't do it that way.
I don't know. I can't tell anyone how to do it because I never go on my computer, but welcome.
Hi. Glad I'm here. How are ya?
I'm awesome.
I know. I love that about you.
So Amy and I haven't caught up on a live for probably 4 months, 3,
Oh, didn't we do
2.
one in June?
Okay.
It
Maybe
feels like a year.
just feels like a year because I mean I do lives a lot, so it's been a long time. So welcome back on.
Thank you, friend.
I can hear me. Carrie, can you tell me if it's echoing for you? Otherwise, we're going to keep going because I can barely hear it, but there's a little teeny echo. So what did I title this? Just do today. What does that even mean? Holy crap, what does that mean? Especially for me, because I'm super proactive. So I'm always thinking ahead. Like, how is this domino going to affect me in 5 days, 5 years, whatever? That brings on a lot of fear and worry, and instead of just living in today. So, which is right now, this is all we can control, right?
Oh, no, I thought I controlled everything. I thought that's why I lived in the future in my past.
So Amy and I have huge tool belts. I mean, we have so much stuff to offer the world. And so we talked about what we were going to offer today. And honestly, it's just going to be value and a back and forth conversation about what does today look like? How can you just take on today? How about you go into that?
Well, and so the question that came up as you say that is, and it's a rhetorical, and I would love to hear people watching their comments. Why is it so hard to focus on just this present moment? Because you and I were talking, when we say just today, that doesn't even mean at 5 o'clock tonight. That means present moment.
Yeah.
What would it look like in your life if you woke up and had amnesia, but everything else was fine, right? You knew your loved ones. But what if you had no memory of your thoughts about you and your judgment and your past, and you only knew your talent and your skills and your expertise for right now?
With no negative insecurity, nothing. Like coming from a space of I'm enough.
Well, for example, coming from, because I'm 50, so coming from the fact that I'm a 50-year-old woman today, what would I do if that's all I knew with all the skills and expertise that I have?
You'd rock out your life.
Right? So that's kind of,
Would you
that,
not?
yeah, we all would, I think.
Yeah.
I think we all would. So if we can, first of all, grasp that, like that might just be your, somebody's meditation or mindset work today, is just really feel that for a minute. What does that feel like? Because if you stop and feel that, you almost immediately feel lighter, right?
Sure, yeah.
And of course, then, scientifically, we do know that we are our operating system of our subconscious. So 97% of what we do every day is based on our subconscious programming. So it is changing that. But what if that awareness was everything? That, oh, I'm not 5-year-old Amy. I'm not 20-year-old. I'm not 49 and 2 months. I'm today Amy, right? So what would I need to do to change my internal operating system so that I create new mapping for whatever I want to do in the future? And that, I think, brings us back to the power we have, because what that's going to tell you, or hopefully show you, or put a light on, is the power of choice that you do have. So let's focus on what we do want, not what we don't want. And then, of course, to create the new neural pathways, we do have new thoughts that take time to then build those emotions that were connected immediately. But building that new pathway takes repetition. And it's easier to access it in meditation because you're using whole brain. You're not using your 3% of your analytical brain. And you're in meditation, you're connecting with that source that's running everything. That's why things happen in meditation. That's why meditation is so important. You're using whole brain, which gets right into the subconscious programming.
So talk about what's your opinion about walking through forgiveness. And there's some amazing people on this call right now. So truly, we've just attracted the best. And that's where I'm at. I am attracting the best because I have walked through the forgiveness aspect. So talk a little bit about forgiveness. Now, forgiveness and trust are totally two different things. Like, I can choose to forgive you because it helps me not be in jail. Trusting is a whole different thing. I am still at choice to say, hey, I'm going to be in a trusting relationship with you. But I mean, we have some amazing people on this call. It's perfect that they're listening in because I have a lot of friends. I've attracted a lot of friends, including you, that are in the morphing process of who the hell am I? And what do I have to offer the world?
But here's aren't we always in the morphing process?
Maybe,
the world
yeah.
teaches us that we're
My
supposed to get somewhere.
Yes.
What if our perception was, I'm meant to morph all the time. If I feel like doing something, I just had a conversation with an amazing friend and coach of mine, and I said something about, well, maybe I'm just chasing another shiny object. And he goes, what the F does that even mean?
Right.
Like, he's like, who, and why is that wrong?
Right, because you're creative. You will always be chasing.
We all are creative. Yes.
Yes.
There is something, I get it, about being consistent, but the fact that we are here to, every relationship is to help heal an aspect in us. So the forgiveness, I don't really have the answer, but yeah, forgiveness took me a while to figure out. It's to keep me out of jail.
Yeah.
The trusting sometimes comes down to, am I actually not trusting them? But it's probably more about, I'm not trusting myself.
Yeah.
I haven't had the belief system, haven't gotten that out of my operating system to trust myself with boundaries, to trust myself with making decisions without approval. If you experience abandonment, approval is big. There's 100 reasons and they're kind of all the same. So you may not trust that person, but is it really you don't trust them or you don't trust yourself?
So let's go back to the forgiveness part, because this is the same thing. Really, was I unforgiving of that person, or was I actually just incredibly pissed at my own choices and what I allowed?
So did the forgiveness start with you first?
It absolutely had to.
Okay, so I've done it in the reverse. When I thought I've forgiven people or someone, it sounded good. I thought I did.
Yeah.
But I was actually, the person I needed to forgive was me. I was pissed at me for being dumb, stupid,
Why
needy,
are you here again?
whatever.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't remember the actual, I've been working on forgiveness for so long in the different modalities that I've been involved in. So I don't know which one came first. But what's cool is that, we say all these things come from our original mom dad issues, okay? Truly. And we're moms, so that hurts to say out loud because you know what is next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But to be able to come around as in my 40s and actually have a healing conversation with my father, in the last 6 months, and to be in a space where we're just like coming clean on life and how we didn't show up for each other in life and how important that was. But if I had never walked through any forgiveness, I would have never created the space for that relationship to have that conversation. And
because we would be stuck in blame and resentment and victimhood.
Yes, and that would never give you the space to come down to a vulnerable place if I'm attacking you just with my face, my energy. So that was a miracle that I saw. And so I've seen the whole forgiveness thing work out for me over and over. So now I get to be a speaker on it. I get to share value with the world and encourage people to keep going. I know it's hard, but it's so powerful for your life. So powerful.
It is. And, I think we all, especially if you're watching this, when we look at our life, it really is about you, but not in a selfish way, in the big self way, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of speaking with you before, but yeah, I see where things are now coming together. And for me, it's always been about health and nutrition because I've always experienced, not always, but we all are being shown what's going on with symptoms of health. And that has just always, excuse me, really resonated and actually became a major focus where it actually, I thought I was doing good, written little stuff for e-guides and helped women and da-da-da-da. But it turned into almost like its own addiction to keep me off of the fact that we all are made perfectly well and able to heal, but it is the mind, body, the thoughts, and the mind connection. You can transform your health with transforming your thoughts.
Yes. But it's a pendulum swing. Everything's a pendulum swing. So you can start out on a journey of, okay, I need to focus on my health because I have these issues going on and I get to be of whole health. And then you can go into an addiction over here. Like that takes you off again. If I focus on that, so like uber focused, then I don't have to focus on what I'm actually called to be doing right now.
Yes, that's the
Again.
thing. It keeps us busy
Yes.
away from what we're here, each of us are here to bring.
Yes. And that's why we make ourselves, in a sense, get on these lives. We never have a plan, but it pushes us into, I mean, I was literally signing up my kid for school 20 minutes ago, kind of deal. I was literally across town. So, but I was so committed. I got home 4 minutes till because my intention was to be on this call. So that is great feedback for you. If you just paid attention to your intentions and if you're fulfilling your intentions, because I could have called you and been like, let's do it some other time. But it has been months. And so why would I do that? I'm fully committed to bringing value to the world today. And this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing right now in this moment.
Yeah, so we are always setting intentions, but a lot of times they're subconscious. So what is your intention for just this day? What one thing, not the whole day and all the things you want to do, become, or change, but what is one thing you can focus on that you want to set your intention for? And maybe your intention today is to be aware of the thoughts that are coming through. And are they thoughts you want to choose to keep or to release? Maybe it's just awareness is your intention.
Yeah.
It can be like those little, that seem so small, but they're so powerful because it puts you in the present moment. So yeah, your intention to bring value to the world like you do allowed your actions and attention to follow. And it was just for that moment. You probably have 1,000 other things to do because when we run like that and then go right into the next thing, you probably could have gotten caught up in your brain about, and then I have to do this and this and this and her. No, just right now. Just right now.
Yeah, because I just got home from a huge photo shoot in Chicago. And I mean, now I have, my biggest thing is people waiting on me for stuff. I don't like it. So I want to get that complete and off my desk or whatever, even though it's not the end of the world. Most photographers have a 4 to 6 week turnaround. So it's not that big of a deal. But then I'm making a bunch of choices about my living situation, and my car still needs to be looked at. And I know what my calendar looks like this week, but I feel so at peace with what my calendar says right now. The rest of the day is completely open for me to rock out whatever comes my way.
Because that is just a trick of the ego, is to attach us to that, because all of that actually can flow so it's not flowing well if we don't have a good feeling, like a negative, like I'm choosing then to experience anxiety or whatever. Imagine that same situation that you just described with, I'm not attached. I don't feel any anxiety. It will get done, and that is being aware of those thoughts and those emotions that go hand in hand, and not having the attachment to, well, why do I need to get that done? Because other people have expectations of me. Well, if you're, which you are, quality, totally integrity woman, whatever work area you're talking about, so when they get their photos in 4 weeks, it's your thoughts about them not getting it in 2 weeks, or your thoughts about whatever.
It's always my thoughts that make my life miserable or completely at peace. Like no one else is putting this on me. No one else is putting this on me. It is all my thoughts on what it looks like to be a fantastic photographer, graphic artist, multi-level marketer. Like it is literally all my thoughts. My goals are my goals. So I am fully in control of what my day looks like, if it's going to be horrendous or fantastic.
Right. And so the issue comes is when we don't realize we're energetic beings, and all of those thoughts and then emotions just feel them in the moment and watch them. Literally, it can take moments. Just watch it and, oh, you could say, I'm feeling very anxious. I am not liking this. And the more you just say that and take deep breaths and literally just watch that feeling rise, it goes through you. We are made to be in motion, not hit some goal and be static. And that's what we fight against is, I just had everything organized last week. I had no car issues. Everything was checked up, done, and the kids. And then we can't there is no, you got there and you're done.
Yeah.
It's being able to not listen to the conventional teaching of the world that you don't get to a static point. You keep evolving and moving, and you feel the emotion. And I don't do this perfectly. That's why I'm teaching it. It is, but it's easier when I can sit with that and reflect on it, ignite awareness, and go, let me just feel this uncomfortableness. Because we're not taught to feel the uncomfortableness, right? So when we can feel it, it almost literally dissolves it. And that practice then creates those new neural pathways. You can bring the science in. So then doing that over and over allows you to flow much easier.
Yes. So let's talk about, I used to be super fearful and worry, which then created a lot of more fear and worry, and then a lot of out of controlness. And so I've been recently noticing that, I've been practicing this a long time, choosing into God's got this, like, I know what my request is and what my intention is. And am I going to sit there and worry about it till it happens, or am I just going to let it flow? So I show up to my boy's school. He had a horrendous year last year, like really unenjoyable. None of his good friends were in his class, all of that. So we show up and everything's totally aligned. He has all the classes he wants. His best friend is in his same pod. I could have worried about that for 6 months, or I could just be like, this is going to work out. I'm intending this to happen, and it will happen.
And even if it didn't happen, I think maybe some of your intention was also, I trust.
Yes,
like, we'll deal with it then.
Awesome. He gets to choose to make it awesome, whether his best friend's in there or not. But it's those little things, and it's not little. It's a huge concern of mine. And that is one I can honestly say I really okay, I have to release this because I literally have no control over it. I'm not going to be the mom honing in at the school and creating drama at the school. It's like, just, this is going to work out. That's the intention I'm holding. And it's going to be positive. And how cool is that? How fun and easy was that? We just showed up and it was done.
And as you and I have talked, our life reflects back to us our own lessons too. So, and then on top of it, it's a great way to help the children understand you can have a preference for liking or not liking a situation.
Yes.
But when we're in resistance to what is when you're going to start feeling the misery.
Right. And you can go in and out of that misery. You're completely at choice.
And we do.
We do.
Our whole life. And so, the more that we, what I say, ignite the awareness, in my mission through the speaking that I do and helping people transform their health, is that it is a continuous evolving. We bump it up one notch today, just one notch. You can't go from, lowest shame to joy. But if you go from shame to anger, you bumped it up one notch.
Yeah.
You really can. And then you can bump it from anger to resentment, and you just start bumping. But you'll find that everything is connected and everyone is connected. And when you do your part, the universe grows it, source grows it in exponential steps. And like you said, you couldn't have aligned that if you tried, right? And everything just will fall into place. But it's also, we are willing to not resist what is. So we're allowing things to flow.
Right.
Not necessarily question. I always say, look it for the lesson, or a better way I like to say it is, what is it showing that I need to heal? What am I healing in myself? And then just let that go, right? I don't have to really prefer to like or dislike. It might be really uncomfortable. It's maybe forcing me to make choices I didn't want to have to make, but nothing can be done about it. If I'm in the present moment, I'm right here with power, and the power is choice. Yeah. We have all the answers, which is why we keep doing life and practicing and figuring it out, you know? And I believe that that's part of our job. You and I both do that with our speaking, and how we get out there is to just share it and help with whatever step falls on you or lands on you that was meant for you today.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I shared in my last live that was super emotional was just, if you are not surrounding yourself with people that are choosing to win at life, and it's winners, but I don't like the winners losers kind of theory. But at the same time, it's really true. Are you choosing to win or lose at life? Like, you're fully bought into one or the other. And I personally cannot choose to hang out with people that are choosing to lose at life, because I will be in the pit like in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I've never stated that life is easier, but I have the tools and the friendships that are choosing to win at life to give me hope and strive. So it's been cool. I've thought about your joy ceiling comment that you made probably 6 lives ago on one of our things, was just really getting my joy ceiling risen,
lifted.
lifted. We'll go with lifted.
Yeah. And it's really, so when we are doing that kind of change work, that inner work, your soul is able to see other people's soul, and their soul sees them. So a lot of times you don't even have to say anything. And what the people that, you know, you're talking about that are really heavy, what I call really heavy, and we've all had to prune relationships, right? What I can see now is, you know, the innocence. So if we shift our perception to seeing the innocence in them, they are no different than us.
Right.
They don't need fixing, because nobody's broken, but they have their own personal journey of healing. That's my belief. So I can't stop them from going through certain things. I can share what I have, but it's then it's choosing to not have a preference to be addicted to my need for anything of like approval or whatever, that I have to fix them. So when you detach from people that are heavy, it should and can allow you to have more love and forgiveness for them, because you see the innocence in them. We're all here doing the evolving together. But yeah, you can't be around those people and have that be your circle and wonder why you're not being, you know, lifted and encouraged and growing yourself, you know?
Yeah, why you feel like sleeping a lot. I've had a lot of people ask me how I've walked through forgiveness in the last year, and it's truly because I see the little boy heart of the people that I've had to walk through forgiveness for, and the faces that are just like completely astounded by that answer. And it's like, that's what working on yourself does. Like, you get more heart and more compassion.
Now, so yeah, you've expanded your love. You're understanding that this is all we are. And I know that sounds really woo-woo for people. but there's even science on that. But yes, because you've opened up your own love flow, then we can more readily see the child,
Yeah.
the little girl or the little boy in other people. Yeah. So that what that says is you've done a lot of the inner work. When we can love ourselves like that, care for ourselves first in nourishing our body, our mind, no guilt of, taking the rest we need, or, literally what self-love and self-care and self-compassion is, we actually expand and we really impact others.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's accountability for me, to play a big game.
Mm-hmm. You're doing it.
And it doesn't mean things are all easy and happy and delightful all the time. But that's my accountability and hope, to play a bigger game. Because people are watching. Everyone is watching.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. It wasn't until Facebook stories that you can actually see who's watching you. And they don't know. They don't know that you can see that, right? I mean, I see names on there that I haven't seen these people or talked to them for years. Never made a comment on anything.
Yes, you're right. People are always watching. That just goes back to the same thing that we know about kids. It's not what you say, it's what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because our soul sees that. So we see an aspect, you and I are friends. So my soul sees an aspect in you that it recognizes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's positive, negative. It'll be both probably, but we recognize that.
Yeah.
So especially when you see something that they're doing that's, on what we call the positive side or successful side, your soul resonates with that. It sees it in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that goes back to love, which is what I've been told for years and years and years. You're only capable of receiving the love that you truly have for yourself, and you're only able to give out the exact same amount.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a hard time loving people, it's time to look within and start really, really loving yourself, forgiving yourself. This forgiveness piece, people think that word is such a nasty word, and it's like, I've chosen to take the high road because I was shown that by my parents. Like, truly, around divorce, my dad hung out with us for all holidays with my stepdad and everything. So my parents showed me how divorce can look. It doesn't have to be nasty, you know? So unfortunately, I'm able to show my kids that as well. Did I want that to be my, but you and I talked about this before we got on the phone call. It's like, but yes, I married exactly the man, absolutely married the man that would push in my value buttons, keep them pushed in. And so that's the work I'm doing, is how do I attract healthy, cherishing, loyal, fantastic love in my life. And I don't mean just in a mate, I mean in friendships and all this stuff. So I think I got the girl friendships down. Like, I have solid women in my life.
Yes.
So the healing comes, a little later when a male actually walks in there. So, but I get to do everything I can right now, with today, where I'm at right today. So,
because there's always choice.
Always. But I would never say don't do the high road. It's harder than hell, because you have to give up the need to be right, that you really were screwed over, betrayed, and blah 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 blah. But it is so worth it. It's so worth it to have your health on the other side and to be released from the chains of that story.
So a question for that is, then you can ask, is it worth giving up my peace? Because when we're not at peace is when we start doing all this weird maneuvering.
Mm-hmm.
And there's these mental, I need to get them to do what I want them to do. And you're right. So it is called the high road. It's also called the peace road.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, people can do horrendous things. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. It's an action.
Mm-hmm.
It's this thing, not just a word, right? And there's a lot of release when you decide to detach from what these people think about you. So if I don't need to be right, well, but they're going to think that I'm stupid and whatever. Like you can choose not to have a preference for that. Now that's really hard for ego to take on, ego, mind.
Yeah, but taking the high road, you don't do ego. Like you're totally choosing out of ego. Mm-hmm. Because if I need you to see that I'm a perfect person or that I have my shit together, then I need to be right about all things that have occurred in my life. Mm-hmm. But eventually, if you can get on the other side of that and not be about ego, and actually, that's why I love lives too. That's why I love being crazy and in my humor, because it is so uncomfortable for most people to watch me be in my humor. And yet for me, that's complete vulnerability. Like I will take your walls down within minutes with my humor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, it's like my calling in life to bring down the walls, take off the mask. That's why I can show up to a live with absolutely no makeup on and my hair literally rolled out of bed, because I just don't care about that stuff. But I do care about the health and well-being of hearts.
Yes, you do, ma'am. Love that. Love that.
So what do you want to leave our friends with today? We've had a lot of comments, and I think we'll just go back and answer them after. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
So we'll go into answering those not live, because I'm sure we've gone into a pretty long one. But what would you want to leave this group with? And thank you so much for always being a light in my life.
Back at you, sister. I think the same. How about if we just leave them with a little mindset challenge today? So mindset, it's like fitness for your brain. What if, awareness of what? Awareness of your intention, awareness of your thoughts, awareness of, are you in present moment? That might be fun. Okay, now let me just preface that with, we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, people. It may be a little overwhelming, but are you aware of when your thoughts are taking you out of this present moment? Okay. And can you take a deep breath, close your eyes, it cuts off your sensory, and come back to present? Maybe we just challenge that.
Okay. And my challenge, that's perfect. My challenge would be that what if you were exactly perfect and enough right here, right now?
So yeah, your whole day opens up.
Yes, exactly.
I've got 8 extra hours to do something with today.
And doesn't that bring you insane energy? That doesn't make you curl up and take a nap. So love you guys. Thanks so much always for watching. Definitely put if you watch this on the replay. And always the wonderful Amy came on to be my guest and share value with me. So have a great day and rock it out.
Thank you. Love ya. Bye. Bye.